last week was the very first day we started this service. And from last week, I started teaching us about why a Christian must desire to be blessed, why a Christian must desire to have money, why a Christian must desire to possess or to walk in abundance. So I gave some lot of examples, and I remember vividly that the first point I made was uh, God takes pleasure in the prosperity of his people. So, which simply means, and we saw that from the book of Psalm 35, verse 27, that God takes pleasure in the prosperity of his people. And I ask, even though God takes pleasure in the prosperity of his people, God will never say that because you've not understood or understand certain things that should warrant those prosperity, there's no way God will give it to you. And I gave two classical examples that I said that if you are in hurry, you are in a kitchen and you are working and you are maybe you need extra hand to help you get the work done faster. Even though you are in hurry, you want to get the work done faster, and your 2-year-old child comes to you that, Mommy, I want to assist you to get the work done faster. In actual sense, you're supposed to be happy because the person is coming to help you to get it done faster, because in a way it is even stressing you. But even though you're supposed to be happy, because you care for your child, because you don't want your child to be injured, you decided not to what? Permit the child to assist you. You get it? And that's the same thing also happens to us as Christians in Christ. That once, even though God finds delight or God finds pleasure in our prosperity, yet he will never say that because you desire, because I find pleasure in it, I must bless you. Whilst you've not mastered certain keys, certain principles, certain methods, that if you don't know these things, it is likely to destroy your life. So this is the reason why God, even though he desires the prosperity of his people, yet certain dimensions have not been allocated unto us. That's what we established last week. And as well as we also talk about God encourages us, or God commanded us to take dominion over the earth. And I also made you understand that God, before we can take dominion over this wicked world, we need what is called money. Because without money, it is very difficult for us to take dominion of this earth. Because right now, the earth is full of wickedness. And before you can even help a brother or a Christian brother or a Christian sister to come into Christ, sometimes when you have money, it makes the work very easier. And also true, if we have money, we can also push the kingdom of God very far. So I think that this is a recap of what we did last week. Tell your neighbor, today is another day. That's right. That's right. Yes. So from last week, I was explaining something about life, and I was like, we are a team of workers that we are working for a particular CEO, of which this particular CEO is anonymous. He's always hidden. We can't see him. But this CEO is just very fair, and he always plays a fair game. But one thing is, he doesn't compromise ignorance. That because he's anonymous, you can't see him, that if you make mistakes and things, he will forgive you. No. This CEO doesn't know something like forgiving when you go contrary to his rules. Or that is called the rules of engagement, of which I name it as what? Laws of nature, or the laws of life. So today, I want us to go deeper, because today my message is titled as How to Build a Strong Financial Foundation. How to build a strong financial foundation. And the first thing in building strong financial foundation that we have to consider is, one, seeking for what? Knowledge. So education and knowledge. That's the first thing I want us to talk about. Education and knowledge. The second point is savings and investments. That's if you want to build a solid foundation, savings and investment is important. Third, financial discipline is also important. And the fourth point is entrepreneurship. And the last one is networking and relationship. So if you want to build a strong financial foundation, I stated that the first point is what? The first point is what? Knowledge and education. Second is savings and investments. Third is financial discipline. Fourth is entrepreneurship. And the last, networking and relationship. So today, if time permits us, and right now I think I have less than 30 minutes to go. So I don't know if we can deal with all the four. I'm only hoping that we can even deal with two. Maybe next week we'll continue. Okay. So the first one, knowledge and education. This is very, very important. This talks about what? The renewal of the mind. This talks about more like mental transformation. You see, as I was telling you initially that we have rules of engagement. And the only way you get to know these rules of engagement is through learning. Okay, so Warren Buffett said that you have to learn to earn. You have to what? Learn to earn. Because ask yourself that the things you desire and you are not getting, what is the difference? What is causing why you are not where you want to be or you wish to be? Have you asked yourself that question? The business that you are complaining that it is not working, another person is doing well in that business. What's the difference? And have you also asked yourself that all the resources you are desiring to have or you are craving for, should you have them now, what will you do? In this life, we claim that there are job scarcity, right? Unemployment, also. Yet, there are some people in this life that the jobs are rather chasing them. What is causing that? It's only because these people have mastered these laws. They know how to maneuver. Yes, these laws. And that's how come they have become so valuable and the market is demanding for them. That's the reason why education or knowledge is very important. You see, there's what is called cause and effect, a law called cause and effect. This law simply states that it's more like whatever you give in, you get out. And nothing, so it clearly says that nothing happens without a cause. For effect to occur, there's definitely a cause. Because without a cause, there wouldn't be any what? Effect. That's the meaning of the law of cause and effect. So this lies the fallacy that, this person came from nowhere. We have something called a lack. And I always say, when preparation meets opportunity, we call it lack. You don't know the person from anywhere. You don't know how far the person has prepared for that thing to come and meet him. And because of his preparation, the person excels well, and you think that it is lack? No. Because you didn't see the person's training, doesn't mean that he wasn't trained. You get it? So knowledge is very, very important. Life is like a beam balance. We all know a beam balance from primary school or JHS or SHS as well. You see, it has two sides, right? In physics, we can also term at moments. It has two sides. So these two sides, whenever a load is put at one side, the other side goes up. And where the load was put on goes down, right? Good. So these two sides can be termed as positive and negative. The positive vibes and the negative vibes. The positive, the things you wish to have, and the negative, the things you don't want. You get it? So whenever a load is put at the negative side, what will happen? automatically the positive will go up. So we are decreasing the negativity, in order to what? Increase the what? The positive. And what load am I talking about? This load is what is called knowledge. So when you put knowledge at the positive side, automatically the negative side rises. You get it? So it means that as a businessman, you should always crave for knowledge. You should always know what you want to do. There is a law which is called the law of, or a rule of 10 or 10%, a 10 or 90% rule, which simply states that for anything that you want to do, invest 10% of your time to learn the underlying principles, the underlying methods, the laws, the keys. If you're able to invest just 10% of your time to learn all the things that makes that thing works, it will save you 90% of your time to achieve that same goal in that area. Just taking 10% of your time. So you see, sometimes in businesses, there are some people, once they come in, boom, one more call. And people don't understand, I've been in this thing for a very long time. Why is it that me, I'm not excelling? But this person came in and in no time he has exploded. You get it? What is the reason? Or what is the difference? The difference is the person just gave 10% of his time to master the skills, the methods, the principles before he came in. And that made a difference. So in business, before you will start anything, try and make sure that you seek knowledge. Try and make sure that you learn about whatever you want to go in. Because if you really want to excel well, trust me, you have to first have a background of knowledge before you attempt whatever you want to attempt. I don't know maybe how you carry your businesses, but this law works. Because I quite remember when I decided to join to do network marketing. My first one, the official one I did was Super Life. And I remember when I decided to do this business, I got registered and I gave myself the first 3 days. Trust me, I didn't learn. Sorry, I said I couldn't sleep. Huh? I was so obsessed with the thing. I was so obsessed to win. Therefore, because of that desire, me to mean that. And I learned. I learned, so I understood the thing. So when I'm communicating to you, I'm not just saying anything. I know what I'm saying. You see, and what makes these laws very powerful, and as businessmen, we should acknowledge them, is they are backed by what? God's power. That's the reason why, you see, when God said on the 7th day, God rested. When he said he has rested, indeed, he has rested. But you see, even though God rested, but still things are moving. But if you rest a day, will your company survive? Unless you put in what? Structures, systems, principles. And that's what God did. So God put all these things in place. The principles, the systems, everything. That once you subscribe to, it doesn't matter your creed or your ethnicity, or whether you are white or you are black or you are whatever, whether you are born again or unbeliever, it doesn't matter. Once you subscribe to it, the Lord will reward you. We have unbelievers who are giving birth, isn't it? After God created Adam and Eve, he ceased to create human beings again. And he put a system that once a man and a woman meet, and there's a fusion of the female sex and the male sex, the gametes, it will exactly form what? A zygote that would develop for later to become a human being. So imagine that you are there praying, God, give me child, yet you don't have a man or a woman in your life. What are you doing? Because you are not obeying the laws. And this is what we are doing to God. His systems are there. Instead of us to avail ourselves to learn and engage them, we are rather praying and asking unnecessary things. Sometimes, so God sees us, Mimbe, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Humble yourself and learn my principles. That's the reason why Jesus said that the people of this world are wiser than the people of the light. Because the people of this world has accepted Jesus Christ's principles, but they never accepted Jesus Christ himself. But we, the Christians, we have neglected the principles and accepted Jesus Christ. That's how come we are suffering. And these people are doing well. Yes, because there are a lot of things these people will never do. Because they know. Imagine outside is dark, right? Imagine you are there praying, casting darkness. Okay, no. No. There's something called the law of time and chance. It happens to everyone. So as a businessman, and say even as an individual who have not even started business, make sure that you are well prepared. Because the difference between here and your dream takes preparation for you to get there. So if you are not prepared, and time and chances, as the Bible says, it happens to them all. So far as you're on this earth, no matter what, you reap what? The time and chance something. You reap some. So if you are there and you're not doing anything, you don't want to engage anything, and you're only hoping that just one day, a piece as we are saying about one day it will be better. Oh boy. One day it will be better. And then when they started to can end ebefa. Oh, I'm fucking ayo. Sure. The people who are saying that, do you know what they are standing on? That is fueling their those sayings. You don't have anything. Empty kunku. If people are saying one day will be better, you're also saying that some. Yeah. So as I'm saying, there are principles, and that why we say that it is the justice of God, and it's God's justice. Once you obey the principle, it doesn't matter. That's how God has created the system. It's like I say, who don't say question idea a catensa. Onim tuntum no onim ifita. Even if you are onim no. His own and onim no. Once your hand goes there, that is how the justice system of God is. Once you subscribe to the system, once you subscribe to the principle, once you obey it, the reward attached to it must come. So, therefore, why are you moving around and always lamenting and telling God that, God, why me? Why this? Why that? Why don't you rather sit down and look for these laws, these principles, and learn them? And as I'm saying, I'm still on the law of what? Mental transformation is the renewal of the mind. Because trust me, I always say that, you see, you're already in the health field. But let me see. Chama, please, which program you did, boss? Education, good. So, your name again, bro? Wood, do you Mercy. Mercy. So, Wood, imagine that Pastor Wood says that, you are sick and you need someone to inject you. And he comes to you that, let me inject you. You see that shock? I just want to teach you something. I'm coming. You see that shock? He says that, hey, for the way. But this same Wood, if he subjects himself to 4 years curriculum or 6 years, and he comes out as a nurse or a PA or a doctor and decides to come and give you the injection, you take it, right? What has changed? He can still wear that same dress to give you the injection, but still you take it. What has changed is the renewal of the mind. The only thing that has happened is the renewal of the mind. And this renewal of the mind is something serious. that it even took the Israelites 40 years after they left Egypt, Pharaoh. They were on the desert for 40 years, right? Before they got to the promised land. What was God doing? God was trying to what? Transform their mind. Because from Egypt to where they were going wasn't far. It was not supposed to take them even 1 year. But because of their mind, which is not able to understand or hold what God wants them, what God has given to them, God has to take them what? 40 years of preparation. Because if your preparation did not go, if your training, Prophet always say that if you cut your training, you cut your greatness. Yes, because you training now, trust me, you will never become. You will never become. So God had to spend. Don't forget, when they were leaving, they found favor in the sight of the Egyptians. They gave them gold, isn't it? But at the end, what did they use the gold for? When we made the calf to worship him, because they needed shelter, they needed food, and Moses was not providing for them, or Moses was even far, like wasn't with them, and they forced Aaron to do something for them. Why did they do that? Because they didn't understand what they were carrying. That's the reason why they use it so cheaply. They even forgot that the gold can even, when they sell it, if they knew the value of the gold, they could have even sell it to what? Get more shelter for themselves than need to make a god for themselves. So this is why God always wants to subject us into trainings, into preparations, so that before we can come out, we are a full being. We know what to do. Whatever God will give it to us, it will not destroy us. So trust me, if it had not been for the gold that they received, what else would they have used to mold the calf? Community. So it's more like God has given them something, and that thing has destroyed them. So that mistake, God doesn't want to do it again. Doesn't want to give you anything that you don't have knowledge about it, that you don't know the principles involved, because that thing will eventually destroy you if you don't understand. The other time, I remember I have a friend. This friend, he's very creative, very, very creative. But you see, when God gives you something and you are not using his vineyard, the devil will find a job for you to do. Because he's very creative, this guy can job a lot of ladies, can handle a lot of ladies. When this person calls, when he lies and he realizes that Wachana, he will quickly lie again to cover the first lie. That is creativity. Meanwhile, he could have used that same skill in God's vineyard to help or promote his kingdom. But because he doesn't know what he carries, look at where he's using it. So you understand why now the things you are asking for, God is not granting them unto you because you've not mastered how to use it. You understand, right? I hope you are learning well. Wow. Let's give we thank God. The most important thing is our mind. If your mind is wrong, trust me, all the billionaires in this world, they are not afraid to lose their possessions. Why? Because their mindset has been set in such a way that once they lose it, it will come. And it's not them. Let me enlighten you on this. It's not them. It is the power of God backing these principles. That's how come they get there. Let me tell you something. Right now, imagine that. Mercy on my life. Imagine a prophet comes here and prophet doesn't have maybe shoes keke. Pastor Timothy, not even Pastor Timothy alone. Like imagine he doesn't have that thing. Automatically we will start thinking, hey, this is a privilege for me to buy a shoe for the man of God, for me to be blessed. Do you think that it is you that you are thinking that way? It's the power of God, because his mindset have grown beyond that. His mindset has grown beyond that in such a way that he doesn't deserve to be like without shoes. Therefore, the power of God or the justice system of God that backs this principle will push someone to do it for him. That is how the life is. That is how the life is. So if you've not mastered the keys and you wish to be there, trust me, you will come down. Because whatever you imagine becomes a nation. And imagination gives you a clear picture of where you are going. I learned that one of the attributes that we all know God carries is the omnipresent, right? But do you know that this attribute we also carry it? You only know it when you know the power of the mind. Because the power of the mind has what? Omnipresent. It is able to go into your future and supervise that future and see if your body is ready, if your reality is ready, then they come and pick you there. That's the power of the what? The mind. It is so powerful, just that we believers, all that we know is the spirituality aspect. But if we use this mind in our businesses, trust me, we can conquer everything. When I came to level 100, we went to Takrade, Temahabo, and I was there. I always say that the president who organized that tour, God bless him. It has blessed me. When I was there, and I was looking at the cargo, those ships, I did some very, very big and huge. I was like, so who made this? A human being. It's the mind. The mind made this. Then which means that if I also begin to think big, I'll become. And by the grace of God, me do what there, but I'm working in it. I'm working in it, right? Yeah, so that's how powerful our mind is. And the next thing I want to teach you under this same subject, topic, the point is we have what is called, there are two powerful things that it is difficult to change. Two powerful things that it is difficult to change. I mean, in a way, it's unchangeable. These two things are time and changes. Can you change time? Can you stop time? Can you prevent change? They are very difficult. And these are the things that if you master them, if you learn how to manage them, you can't change them. But if you're able to learn how to manage them, that's the difference. Time and changes. Since my time is almost up, people. Yes. So that's the last thing I'm telling you about, time and changes. That whenever you want to do anything, you must always consider your timing. Because if you're able to master how to manage time, there will always be your birthday. You can't stop that. There will always be Easter. Easter will be coming soon, isn't it? Can you stop that? You can't prevent it from happening. So the best you can do is to learn how to manage them. Learn how to manage changes. Because changes are difficult. Yes. For you to accept new things, okay. I hope, since my time is up, I hope we are blessed for this little. I think next week we will continue with. I only talked about the knowledge and education, right? And we have other points, which is what savings and investment. So next week, savings and investment, financial discipline, entrepreneurship, relationship and networking, right? Yes. So these things helps you to build a solid financial foundation. And I believe that even from the education and the knowledge, that what I've said, if already the message has been recorded, so if you go back and listen to it and add it to your life or your planning, it will help you a lot. Because Warren Buffett said, if you don't plan, I said, if you don't, failure to plan is planning to fail. Failure to plan is planning to fail. Yes. So in planning, that's where you consider all these things. All these things, especially the law of the 10 and the 90% rule, which says that if you invest 10% of your time in the things, it will learn the underlying courses, the methods, the laws, the principles of a thing, or the thing you want to master, or you are going into. It will help you to achieve what 90% of your goal in that same area.